Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. And today I'm very grateful, very humbly joined by Rhani Green. We'll talk about Rhani in a sec. I'll just quickly give Blue Blocks a plug. Their computer glasses are awesome. You might have seen my last few podcasts I have given them. I've let you know about my affiliate program, affiliate link. There's a link to this in the show notes. You can jump on there and grab some blue light glasses, some red light glasses. They have light bulbs, they have sleep masks. They have all sorts of stuff that can protect you and your family from the harmful blue lights, the harmful lights in your home, your TV, your screens. Not that I don't watch screens or anything, but for those that do, there's really awesome stuff on there. They're an awesome company. I'm going to interview the founders in a couple of weeks as well, so be ready for that one. At the checkout, you can get yourself a pair of these awesome glasses. As you can see, the blue lights bouncing off them now. You can use the code NATH22. You get 15% off, so pretty awesome bargain. They also have a sale on right now, which is, I think they're 30% off. So you might be able to get 45% off if you jump on. So jump on there. My link to it's at the bottom. Use the code NATH22. And with that aside, I don't even know how I found Rhani, but I think I was looking through some reels that were like empowering, and I saw her fasting reel that she did. She said that she did a 70-day fast, 70-day or 60-day fast. I was like, I don't know how that's possible. So I do the intermittent fasting myself. But then there's epic and more interesting, like harder ways of doing it. I don't know if it's harder, but yeah, Rhani's awesome. Her content's awesome. She's my age. She's very aware of things. She calls herself the glitch in the matrix on social media. So give her a follow. Without any further ado, Rhani, welcome to my show. Looking forward to hearing about your story, which we've covered for like the last hour. Looking forward to hearing about you, and whatever else comes up. Been looking forward to this chat for a while. So welcome, and let's rock and roll.
Thank you. Yama yama. Hello, everyone. Yeah, super happy to be here and just, talk about it all the weird, wild, wacky stuff.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
That off-air chat was pretty cool. Maybe we can talk about that later as well.
It was, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lots to dive into.
So, Rhani, tell us about you. Tell us about your story and how you viewed the world as like a child through routine, and your story of your story. Let's get it out there.
How I sort of became me.
Yeah.
When people are like, tell me about your story, I'm like, oh God, like where do I even begin with this? I just feel like I've lived a million different lifetimes in this one. And I'm like, I'm not even halfway through this yet. So there's a long way to go. But yeah, I've sort of always been this way. There's definitely points in my life where I've had some sort of spiritual awakenings and big realizations and things happen. But for the most part, I just really remember my childhood as always feeling like really out of place. Like just looking at people like, who are they? What are they doing? Like sort of really intrigued by like the human race, just feeling really weird. That's probably the best way to describe my childhood, is like just feeling very weird, very out of place. Like, where am I? Who are these people? What's going on? And yeah, around the age of 15 is, I guess, when I sort of started like really questioning things, and sort of thinking outside of the box. And not that I'm vegan anymore, but that really did sort of start me on my journey, because it was like, I was started to question things a bit more, like, where is my food coming from? Why am I eating this? It was sort of just like starting to think outside of the box even more. So through that, I sort of started meditating, and I was meditating at that age more than what I am now. Like I was like really, I was going hard on the meditation and having like past life memories. One of my first sort of past life memories was literally looking at myself in my last life as a little girl, and I had really dark eyes and like big curly dark hair, and it was just like, holy crap, I was just staring at myself in the eyes. Was quite a crazy experience. So yeah, lots of meditating, going to the Nantian temple and just praying and just being in that sort of energy, and sort of just looking for answers, going to the library, because this is before YouTube, right, and social media. So if you want the information, you sort of actually have to like really go out and look for it. But yeah, going to the library and looking at books and, about spiritual development and even religion. So yeah, in my teenage years, I was definitely the odd one out. Definitely the odd one out, and I did cop a lot of shit for it. A lot of people just used to give me shit, but I would never. I would always just stay true to what I believed in. Like always, I would always stand up for what I believed in. I'd always stand up for others, no matter sort of what the consequence was, and I would always be questioning things, which is so funny. And I shared this on a Q&A I did recently for the fast. It was like, what I was sort of hated and like sort of like, you know, I wasn't accepted for as a teenager and as a child is now what I am really loved and known and adored for as an adult, So it's like a part of me just knew to always just really just stand true in what I believe in and not give in to, I guess, like what other people are saying or, trying to fit in. I never really cared about fitting in because I could see how backwards the world was. I was like, I don't want to be like these people, I just never wanted to be like them. So yeah, around 15, 16, it was very isolating being a teenager. I really was very, very depressed as a teenager. Very like anxious, like chronic anxiety, chronic depression. And I think through feeling so lonely and disconnected, when I was 19, I sort of opened myself up to the spiritual realm. Yes. Not really knowing what it was and what sort of is in that spiritual realm. But I sort of, long story short, I had a lot of demonic entities attach onto me and I really connected with them. And a lot of crazy shit happened. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of crazy shit happened. And that sort of really just affirmed like everything that I've been thinking my whole life is true. All that magic and all of that sort of stuff as a kid, that's true, that you're sort of programmed not to believe anymore. It's like, wow. Because I had a lot of like, as a kid, I was very scared as well, because I could pick up on these energies. I think that's like a lot of us, we're scared of the dark because there's scary shit in the dark. So when I was 19 and going through some really scary shit, I was like, wow, this is real. Everything I thought, everything I was scared of as a kid is real. Yeah. So that's sort of how I started on my path. And it's sort of been good because, like most people have that spiritual awakening where it's just like this big, like, life-changing sort of thing that happens. And they're like, holy crap, the layers and the programming is being ripped off. Whereas for me, I was sort of navigating through both worlds. Like I was very spiritual, but I was still having a somewhat normal life. I still got to go through all of the stages of like someone in their, late teenage years and their 20s and partying and all that sort of stuff. So it was good because I just sort of was almost like drip fed all of this stuff. So it wasn't like ever extremely overwhelming or like, oh my God, this life isn't what I thought it was. It was just, yeah, it was like living between worlds, almost like living like one foot in, one foot out, I like to say, of I guess like the matrix and like reality.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you were partying and stuff, did the alcohol and that and different things, because I know for me the alcohol, as I started awakening, was affecting my connection to spirit. Was that affecting yours? Did you find that you were more open to the other realms when you were intoxicated?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like alcohol, like, yeah, and doing drugs as well definitely opened me up to like a lot for sure. Yeah. But I didn't feel like it didn't stop me like when I wasn't drinking, like I didn't feel like I was completely disconnected from all of that sort of stuff. But I know that obviously drinking and partying and doing drugs, it opened me up to a lot of the dark stuff. Yeah. And that was pretty hectic. But it's exciting. It is still exciting, even though it's scary and it's not really what you want. It was very exciting, like being opened up to these sort of things and having these experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. How did you find so we'll just fast forward. So obviously you didn't do the university thing like we're all like I was programmed to go to uni and do all those things. Did you go to uni and do anything like that?
No, I haven't been to uni. I did go to a private college and study counseling,
Yeah.
which was really awesome. I did enjoy that. But yeah, basically as soon as I left school, I worked for a year and then I began on the gypsy path. I moved overseas to New Zealand. And then it just all happened from there. I was never really sucked into that programming of, you know, you need to go to uni to have a good job, because I never wanted to have a job. I always knew that I would be working for myself. I didn't really understand what an entrepreneur was or what I would do exactly, but I was like, why would I go and study for 4 years when, like, I was just like, get me away from this. Like when I was a teenager, I actually studied construction in high school because as soon as I finished school, I wanted to run away into the bush and build a teepee and just live off the land. So like that was always my plan. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, and I wouldn't have lasted 2 seconds at that age, like living, you know, and I was a vegan as well. So I wouldn't be eating. I wouldn't, you know, I did construction and I sucked at it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be like a good plan. But yeah, I never wanted to be a part of society. I just wanted to run away and live in the wilderness and yeah.
You pretty much
be in
summed
the
up
sunshine.
you pretty much summed up my last 3 years. As soon as I abruptly awoke to all this stuff, I was like, yeah, I just want to run away in the forest and just live in a hut.
Yeah. Which is essentially what I'm doing at the moment, you know, like that sort of like was my original plan, like leaving Wollongong where I was before and coming up to Queensland was to do that. Yeah. Still
That's
very
awesome.
much on the cards, but still trying to figure out. It's just like being here at Earth School, you just like, this place really is just a game, you know?
Yep.
And it's like you know, when you're playing, like I don't really play games because I'm like, this is the coolest, craziest game ever. But it's like, you know, there's a character and they're like, they go to some little village and there's like a witch that's like, oh, do you want to do this quest? You know, will you accept the quest? And then you find these like little clues along the way. And, you know, like that's how I really see life is like, this is just a big game and you have you can do whatever you want. Like that's the cool thing is that you can go down this path, you can go down this path, like you can do whatever you want. So I just, it just fascinates me so much.
It's interesting that you say you can choose your paths because when I did my very first quantum healing session, I chose the path. Like I had 3 paths to choose. I was like,
wow,
the warm, dark, loving. Oh no, the warm, loving path, like a neutral sort of like cold path, and then like a really, really rough, dark path. And I was like, I choose the warm one. It's like that was my free will. It's like I chose. Yeah, it's like what you're saying. Like that was like my point in the game where I'm like I was as I've said before in all my other podcasts, I was the drunk, I was this and that. It's like, well, when it comes to like the crunch time, it's like, well, I can keep going that path. I can choose up other ones. It's like that was my moment of the game, and I'm like, that was like my fork in the road. It's like I'm going that way.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And I feel like there's not even, I sort of had this realization on the weekend. I was like, there's no wrong path.
No.
You know, there's no wrong path. There's sometimes, the easier way and the harder way and the nicer way and the less nice way. But it's like, there's no right or wrong. Like everything has the positive and I guess like the negative, you know, and the teachings in it. So yeah. There's just so many options. I just love it. It's like, what's going to happen?
Exactly. So obviously you do, so for those that don't know, Rhani does NLP and hypnotherapy. So did that sort of like find you or did you find that, I guess? Or was that just something that just came to you as in like a spiritual download? Like do like a course or like how did all that find you?
Good question. My mum did hypnotherapy. Like she went and saw a hypnotherapist when I was a teenager. And I just remember thinking like, wow, like that is so freaking cool. Like, what is this? I thought it was like just the craziest stuff ever. And it was when I always sort of wanted to work with people and like, you know, share my knowledge and people, I wanted people to learn from my lessons so that they don't have to go through it. So it was actually an ex that said like, oh, you're like a life coach. And I was like, oh, like, and I was like, wow, it's so true. I just come into people's lives and I just fix everything. I'm like, look at how they're eating, how they're like exercising, how much sleep they're doing. Are they like following, are they doing the healing? Are they, what are they doing with their days? Like I've always been very intrigued by people. And I think that's, from that young age of feeling like that alien, and I'm on earth just observing all these people. And I'm like, what makes people happy? What makes them sad? Why is this their favorite color? Like really just intrigued. So I think just being sort of really intrigued by how people work and sort of just like wanting to share my knowledge sort of put me on this path. And that's why I studied counseling to begin with. I thought, you know what, this is like a good base, and anything that I do from, I can go down any sort of path from here working with people, but this is just like a really good foundation to sort of work from. And then I can't remember exactly sort of why I got into hypnotherapy. I think it was because I was going through like my religious phase. I feel like a lot of people on the spiritual path, they go on their religious sort of phase, right? And there's so many things to learn from religions and through these like sort of different phases we go through. And I was doing Reiki and I was like, oh, I don't feel like this doesn't really align with me. But hypnotherapy seemed to be like the one thing that it didn't have anything like woo-woo attached to it. It didn't matter if I ended up Christian or Muslim or spiritual or this or that or like atheist. It was like hypnotherapy. It didn't conflict with anything. So I was sort of like, this feels like the best sort of path to go down, because I feel like I'm going through all these different stages, but this is like sort of more solid, And then I got into Dolores Cannon's work.
Ooh,
and I was, like my life just made sense. Like so many things that I had been thinking my whole life were just like confirmed, like things I'd never even shared with people, I'd never even read anywhere or like heard, and Dolores, like just these thoughts that I had, these sort of like, these thoughts that I had about the universe and life and the world, she just confirmed so much of it. So that was when I was like, wow, hypnotherapy is like really the thing that I want to do, because not only are you, clearing unconscious blockages and rewiring people's brains for success without them having to actually relive the trauma. That's the thing that I really liked about like the style of like hypnotherapy that I learned, was like, you don't have to relive the trauma, because your unconscious mind, it knows what happened. It knows everything, right? It holds every memory, past life, this life, every, all your senses, your smells, your taste, all that sort of stuff. It has everything. So it's like, you don't have to consciously relive that. It can just clear that and basically rewire itself for success, for abundance, for health, for whatever it is that you're calling in. So I was like, this is so cool that I get to go into people's minds, right? They share their like deepest, darkest secrets with me, which I love. I feel like a secret keeper. They share their visions with me.
Same here.
I just love it. Like when I do self-hypnosis with all my clients, and they show me like their higher self, and it's like I feel like I'm a vision, like a vision keeper. Like I feel like when I look at my clients, it's like I see them living their best life, and that's actually like how you manifest things and bring it into reality, is other people holding that vision for you. Yep. So I love that whole aspect of it. But with Dolores Cannon, like her work, obviously, like, she's getting the answers to the universe. Yeah, like you're healing people, right? And you're getting answers to what the hell is going on in this crazy, crazy place. So that's why I really like love hypnotherapy. I'm just like, it's just so cool. And then you look at like the programming in the world and everything that's going on with the government and like, even social media, like TV, movies, songs. It's like when you understand the unconscious mind and how that works with the law of attraction and manifestation, it's like you see what's going on and how they're playing out their plan, so it's just so fascinating. The unconscious mind is just crazy.
It is, because I've delved into it doing the Sabotage course I did through Jason Christoph, and I learned all the stuff you're talking about. And it's like this part of the mind is so powerful, and it's like it controls our lives, and people don't even know that they're like in a sense robots to like all these programs.
Yeah.
And then it just ignited something inside. Once I learned about this part of the mind, I'm like, well, why isn't this taught in schools? And then it's like, I know why this
Yes.
isn't taught in schools, because then everyone gets their power back. And once they have their power back, none of this shit exists. Then it's like, well, I
Absolutely.
want to build my own school, build my own community, and teach kids how to like reprogram their minds and how to channel their spirit and learn how to like build forts and build like all sorts of things for life skills. It's like, well, I know why this isn't taught anymore.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're trying to weaken you to a point where you can't do anything to save yourself.
Exactly. And programming us, that's the thing,
Literally.
like the full programming.
Yep.
And it's like, and now it's like we're having to, like, I don't think people really understand how deep the programming goes, and this is the thing with fasting. This is why I love fasting, because it really breaks a lot of people's programming around, like, you don't actually need food to eat. I mean, you don't actually need food to survive.
Well, that's an attachment, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's like, if you're told something from a young age, and it's not even this life, right? The programming isn't even this life. It's ancestral. It's from your parents. It's when you're in the womb. It's like even some past life stuff. It's like you've got all of this stuff that's programming you. So it's like about ripping off those layers and like opening up and like reprogramming the mind for everything that there is, to welcome all of these new things in, to create those new neural pathways. Yeah. The programming is just so deep.
It is very deep. And as you said, you don't have to relive those things. But for me, I relived some of those things. Like I went back to the womb and did all those things, and some pretty intense healing. But yeah, that's the sort of work I do as well. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? Like when you've done all this work on yourself and you're able to help others heal themselves too.
Definitely.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
We need more of us doing it, especially our age group. Like, I
agree. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Our age group are all partying and they're on Tinder and doing all these things, There's not many of us that are like you and I that are like, standing up against this.
Yeah. I mean, like the way that I see it is like, and I'm just get so passionate. I get so passionate about this. I'm almost like, I just want to like, I'm like, it's like anger. It's like, passion and anger is like such a similar like feeling. I'm just like, like I could scream about this like all the time. It's like, you chose to come to Earth for a specific reason, a specific purpose. Are you going to fuck around like sleeping with people, doing drugs, drinking, working a 9 to 5 that you hate, like being programmed? Are you going to fuck around, or are you literally just going to do the thing that you came here to do? Like, Are you going to fulfill your purpose? Like, don't you want to know what it's like to be the best version of yourself? Like to really reach your fullest potential. That's what I'm all about. Same. Like I came here and Earth School is freaking hard. It's not easy being a human, and it's not supposed to be easy, right? It's like the polarities that this matrix has to offer. We're supposed to be experiencing it all. But it's like, I want to do the thing that I came here to do so that I can tick that off my list and go back to source for a couple of million years and have a big sleep. Like this, I'm not here to fuck around.
Nah, neither.
And so let's just do it. Let's just do what we came here to do.
I don't know about you, but yeah, you're right. And I don't know about you, but I fucked around for way too long. So literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah. But now it's go time, right? And it's like you sort of need to experience that, because it's like the work that we're doing now, it's like it's sharing those experiences and that knowledge with other people. Like, hey, you don't have to make the same mistakes as what I did. Not even mistakes, but you don't have to do the same things that I did. Like you can actually learn from what I've done and like take that on board, and you don't have to go through 10 years of like this sort of stuff. Like you can just sort of jump. That's what it's all about. It's about figuring this out and sharing that knowledge with other people so they don't have, it's easier for them.
Spot on. And have you found there's been like a shift or some sort of, I guess the shifts, for a lack of a better term here, like I'm seeing this healing taking place quicker than, say, you're fed breadcrumbs. For me, it was like 2 years. My brother was like a year. Then I had a client about a month or two ago, and she just got it like that. And in 3 sessions, she left Victoria and moved to Queensland.
Yeah.
There's what are you seeing in terms of that quick healing now?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that with my clients for sure. Like I'm like actually blown. It's even hard for me to comprehend at like,
Same.
I'm like, holy crap, like shit is happening really, really fast.
Yes.
Like people are just like, they're just getting it, you know? I think that people have sort of like, people know what's going on in the world and they want to do the work. I think people are sort of really getting fed up with their own shit. And like, because think about how many people, there's a lot of people investing in the self-development world. Do you know what I mean? Like people don't want to have a miserable life. They don't want to be a part of the system. Like people want better, you know? And it's like those people are like, they're doing something about it, whether they have those blockages, right? And then they come to us so they can sort of clear those blockages. It's like people are picking things up like really quick. Yeah. And I do think it's like definitely an energetic sort of collective thing, but also like social media is a great tool for this. Like if you're not following people who inspire you and who you're like, you know, that's the thing. Like you're either like, you can use social media to make yourself feel like shit, or you can use it to actually inspire and like trigger yourself into being a better person. But I think as well, really what's going on, like, you know, with the Schumann resonance, and just like astrologically and energetically as like the collective, there's so much going on right now and everything is rising to the surface.
Oh, yep.
So people, I'm like getting goosebumps, like
Same.
to clear. People are having to face their shit because they don't have an option. The universe isn't giving them a choice. It's like, here is your shit. You can either do something with it and clear it and move forward, or you can just stay like this. But if you're going to stay like this, we're going to make it worse and worse and worse and worse until you have to clear it. Like there is no running from this. There is no hiding. There's no escaping. You have to deal with your shit and clear it. And then you get to move up to that next level, right?
You're right. And I often say it's like Mother Earth's clearing her negative energy, so we're clearing ours as well. And that's why all this shit's coming up. It's like, I see it in people all the time. I see the pain. I see the sadness. I see it all. It's like I see them stuck in this perpetual loop, this perpetual cycle. It's like you can actually break free from this because the universe is showing you where your shit is.
Yeah, exactly.
Release that shit and release that pain. And then pain. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's very uncomfortable. And that was one thing that really came up with fasting. It's like, you know, sitting in the pain, in the discomfort, like really like just feeling it. Like we said earlier, like before we started recording, like short-term pain, long-term gain, like feel it, you know, like just really fucking sit with it and, you know, clear that so you don't have to feel that anymore.
Like you with your eye.
Embrace it.
Like you with your eye and me with my acne. It's like sit there and face that thing. Don't go to a doctor and get it medicated or go and see different people to sedate it. It's like once you sit with that pain and let it teach you, and then sometimes it's going to back over you again too, and let it back over you. Yeah,
but it's just like, how beautiful is it that we have the opportunity to clear this stuff? You know, how beautiful is it that we, you know, even though it hurts and it's uncomfortable and we have that pain and that sadness, like how beautiful is it that we feel so deeply that we can really feel the polarities that this place has to offer. You know, it's like it hurts, but it's like when you do the work and when you clear that shit, it's like you're up a level, your frequency raises. It's like you get what you want. You're clearing these blockages that are stopping you from being your best self and like ultimately living your dream life, you know, but you've got to do the work. You just have to do it.
And the only one and the only thing stopping you, like a lot of people want to blame other people. They want to blame the TV. They want to blame the government.
Don't even get me started.
They want to blame whoever they are. Like, you know, they want to blame all these things. But it's like, why don't you look in the mirror and just like allow yourself to blame yourself and then forgive yourself.
Yeah. It's like the only person that is holding you back
is you.
Is yourself. Take a good look. Like I always say, like, no motherfucker is holding me back from doing what I came. Oh God, I can't even get my words out. You know what I mean?
I know what you
mean. No one's going to stop me. Right. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, not even you. I'm like the worst motherfucker out of all of them. I'm like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I went through in my journey is I faced myself in the mirror and said, it's like the only one stopping is like
Yeah.
ourselves. Like,
And you just
and
gotta
yeah,
laugh at it. You
yeah,
just
you
gotta
do.
laugh. You know,
Yeah.
like you can play the blame game. You can say, "Oh, I lost my job because of the government and the
Victim
government
mentality.
this," and like the victim mentality. I cannot deal with it. I'm like, take responsibility, take accountability, like
Yeah.
take your power back, like alchemy, right? Like turn that victim mentality and being in that problem state, like flip it. Go into like, you know, I'm the one with the power. What's the solution? I'm going to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like you can sit here and you can blame everyone, but nothing is going to change. If you want to actually change your life, if you actually want to be the best person that you can possibly be, take accountability and responsibility. Yeah.
I agree. 100%
Yeah.
agree.
I hate the victim mentality. I'm like, don't even, which is funny because over the past couple of weeks, I actually went into like a full victim mentality, like mindset. Yeah. And I was like, this is so disgusting.
The one thing
like,
you hate, you're in it.
I was like, wounded feminine.
Yeah.
I was like, problem state, full victim. Everyone hates Rhani. Like, it was like, I was like, yuck, what have I become?
I've been
it's
there.
Horrible. Oh, it's so gross. But
sometimes it's those dark days that you learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I just had to hold myself in that. And I think that's also a really important thing is like being able to hold yourself through the different emotions that you have.
Yep.
You know, feeling like safe in yourself. And I think for women, for any women who are listening who are like too much in their masculine, I get it. If you want a man to hold you in your feminine, you have to learn to hold yourself in your feminine.
And
like you have to feel safe and feel the feelings, even though it's hard.
And the other way for men, if you're too much in your masculine, too much in your, I was too much in your masculine, but too much in your feminine, like you can drop back.
Yeah, I agree.
I think men's different. I think men are maybe over masculine. I know I was.
What, when it comes to healing or like to feeling or
in general?
In general, yeah. I mean, what even is true masculinity anyway?
Exactly.
You know, very debatable. Yeah, toxic masculinity, true masculinity. But yeah.
Interesting topic. But I do want to talk about fasting. So you did this epic day, 60-day fast, and 70-day fast. I saw the reel. I was like, intermittent fast. Done a couple of 2-day ones. Want to do more, but being in Victoria, it's fucking freezing down here.
It's too cold.
I'm eventually moving up your way to become better and do the fasting and stuff. So obviously you built yourself up for it. You didn't just do 70 days, did you?
I sort of did just do 70 days,
geez.
but
this is not medical advice, and do not try this at home.
I feel like I was preparing for this 70-day fast, but I didn't even know that I was going to be doing it. You know, the first time I'd actually sort of dabbled with fasting was when I was about 15, when I was going through that sort of like bit of that awakening sort of thing. And I was just like, I'm going to go on like a water diet. You know, I didn't know really, there's so many things that I've done in my life or I've said in my life that it's never really made sense until I've gotten older and I'm like, oh my God, like I just intuitively knew that fasting was like a part of my journey, you know, to be like fasting at 15. And I was like, didn't even know like fasting wasn't a thing. Intermittent fasting wasn't even a thing 15 years ago. So yeah, I sort of, that's when I first started dabbling with fasting. I got into it more extensively over the past probably 4 or 5 years. Even then, no information on it. Just sort of like intuitively doing it and winging it. As for the 70-day fast, I had completely cut out sugar, gluten, alcohol, and caffeine prior to that. One of my businesses is called the 555 Club, and it's basically like this sort of like 55-day challenge that is like about up leveling in every area. It's about really learning discipline and like stepping into your best self, like leveling up in every area. So one of those components, like one of the things we had to do was no sugar, no coffee, no alcohol, no gluten. So I was already sort of like cutting out a lot of the shit before the fast, which I think is really, really important. So I do fasting consultations and I do fasting coaching as well. I'm like, please learn from my mistakes, because I have made every mistake that you could possibly think of with fasting. I've done so many different types, so many different lengths. Learn from my mistakes and my knowledge, please. So yeah, definitely cutting out those things really helped, because I didn't have cravings going into this. I wasn't, like if you're drinking 5 coffees a day and you're going to no coffee, or you're having sugar every single day and then you're going to a fast, like that's hard. That's really hard. So I was super grateful that I had already cut that out. And for about a month before I started the fast, I was just processing it. And I was really like, holy shit, like, and like we were sort of speaking about before we started pressing record, like, I'm like, what does this version of myself look like? I don't know what she looks like. I don't know who I am without all of these chronic gut issues and without feeling so lethargic and like having my body just feeling like it's completely giving up on me. So it was like really processing, like I'm about to go through hell for like this fasting journey. Everything that I've suppressed is going to come up. There is no hiding from my emotions. This is going to be hell. One of the symptoms of this fast is feeling like you are dying. So it's like, it's chronic. You can have your teeth, like the list of things that like can happen while you're doing the fast is like teeth falling out, nails falling out, hair falling out, like chronic, this pain, that pain. Like there is like every symptom you could think of that you don't want to happen is like, this could happen. So it was like mentally preparing myself for doing the fast, and like going through this huge death, because the past 12 months for me was about complete healing. Like I went home to Wollongong to focus on like starting a business and like doing survival, like YouTube sort of stuff. Survival is like one of my passions. And I got chronically sick, bedridden for months, thought this is my life now. I'm like probably going to have to go on disability and I'm going to be a part of the system. Like what is this my life, for the rest of my life? Like my quality of life is gone. So and this huge healing phase for 12 months. And I was like at the end of this death, and I knew that the rebirth was happening after the fast. So it was like grieving my old self, grieving my physical body with all these things in me. So that's sort of like, I guess, how I prepared for the fast was like, yeah, it was sort of just like jumping in it, but it wasn't in a way, like, yeah, there was some stuff that I had done before that just sort of was really natural, just naturally flowed into the fast. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, by the
way. You're so welcome.
Because like shedding that old self, it's like, yeah, you're going to go through that tough process of like facing who you were and things you were doing and the person you were and all those things. And yeah, I resonate with that, because I didn't do a 70-day fast, but I did a meditation with a mate and was able to do the same thing and just shed some more stuff to do with myself too. It's like we can actually allow ourselves to do these things, we sort of just avoid it. We just always avoid it. It's like, just look it in the eye and face it. And exactly. Yeah, it's awesome that you did that. So
yeah.
So what was this? So with the 70-day fast, so I don't get cravings either. I don't have cravings anymore. I never really had them anyway. But with you, so with the 70-day fast, did you still drink? Obviously, you still drank. Was it just water?
So I followed the master fast system, which is basically there's 7 different levels, and you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do the lower levels before you jump into the level that I did, the highest
Obviously,
level.
you didn't do that.
No. I'm an all or nothing kind of gal. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to jump into it. And I had already had the experience fasting, so I was like, I'm ready for this.
Yep.
I was ready for the fast, but I was not ready for the post fast, which I will speak about in a little bit.
Sweet.
But basically, the master fast system is you're taking, it's a mix of dry fasting, which is absolutely nothing. No brushing your teeth, no washing your face, no showering, no medicines, water, nothing at all. So it's a combination of doing dry fasting and drinking Concord grape juice. Cooked Concord grape juice. And with a combination of like a shit ton of enemas, herbal tinctures, and some psyllium husk bentonite clay activated charcoal, and some lemon juice as well. So you're just basically drinking 2 to 3 liters of Concord grape juice per day. And yeah, 12 hours of dry fasting, 12 hours of drinking juice and having the tinctures and stuff like that. So the thing that I really liked about this fast is that there was structure and there was things to do. When you're sort of doing a water fast, it's like you don't really have anything to break the day up. You know, you're sort of just like walking around, like, you know, when you have like a day where you don't have any structure and you're like, where am I? What am I doing? It's like you're sort of just like a bit out of place. Whereas this was like really structured and you just had to follow the protocol. Like you just had to follow the protocol and that was it. So yeah, I really liked that fast. Master fast is the way.
Right.
Yeah, it's the key. Yeah, because the Concord grape juice is where the magic happens. It has to be Concord. I'm not sure why. It's just like Concord is like the elite grape. It's the best grape. But basically the acids that are in the grape juice, it acts as a solvent. So it's helping get rid of the mucoid plaque, the parasites, the cellular toxicity, all of the crap that you want to get rid of. Yeah.
Which all exists within us.
It all exists. So yeah, I do have 4 YouTube videos on it, going through the whole journey of the fast, like the day before the fast, like the fast up until like I broke the fast as well. But yeah, it was basically, yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty chaotic, but the amount of stuff that came out of me is like shocking. And people don't want to watch it because we all have this stuff in us.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We have like kilos of mucoid plaque in our digestive tract. Like we have like tons of worms and parasites, and like we have just so much toxicity and just waste in us that needs to be moved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hectic. Nothing can prepare you for what comes out.
Obviously, this is an epic way of doing it, but there are other ways of doing it for those out there that don't want to do a 7-day fast. This is just one of the ways, and definitely don't try this at home if you haven't fasted before. Yeah,
there's a full procedure, like a full protocol. So with the master fast, like they say like this is how you do it. You know, you start on a level 1, you do a level 2, you do, you know, you sort of go back and forth with the levels. So I just jumped straight into it. There's other ways to get rid of this, but like for people, yeah, for it's like you're guaranteed to get rid of it. You know, these other things will get rid of some of it, but this is for like the hardcore true healing. Yeah.
So let's talk about post fast. So obviously they tell you when you do a long fast like that you need to like put the food back in slowly, obviously. That's just one of the rules, like one of the things you do. So obviously we'll talk about that first. So how was that process of then putting the food back into your body? And then we'll talk about your other post-fast issues that I did see the other day too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went into the master fast, like into the fast being like, this is going to be really hard, you know, like really like expecting it to be hell, but setting the intention of like, this gets to be easy, this gets to be easy, this gets to be easy. So I was sort of like expecting the worst, but really hoping for the best. Yeah. Whereas with the post fast, so I had a friend who went, she'd done the fast, she did 89 days. So she was like, you know, babe, just like really like prepare yourself for the breaking of the fast. Like it's really hard. And I'm like, no, I've got it. I'm not, everything's so fine, right? Like just totally, just like thinking everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, but it was fucking hard. It was really hard. And it still is really hard because there's so many, like, there's a very strict protocol that you have to follow. If you follow the protocol, you will be fine. If you stray off the path, you will not be fine. And I completely strayed off the protocol. So I basically just introduced too many foods too soon. Too many foods too soon, and started eating like yeah, like meat and dairy, which you should not be eating like this close to breaking the fast. So it was really challenging because you're also going from your normal weight to then dropping a shit ton of weight. Like I was so skinny that I was like actually embarrassed. Like I was like, wow, this is really like, I feel like people are looking at me. I'm like, was becoming very self-conscious of how skinny I was. To then breaking the fast and then gaining that weight, like gaining back weight, it's very hard. Like it's very mentally challenging, especially I think for a lot of women to go through such drastic changes, you know, of like this to this to this. It's like pre-fast, during the fast, post-fast. So you've got food, and then you've got like it's like everything's completely changing, and it's changing really fast. So you've just really got to follow the post-fast protocol. Yeah. But I'm actually really grateful that I'd sort of fucked up so bad, because I know what happens when you don't follow the post-fast protocol, and I know how you should be doing it. I know the struggles that come up. So it's like now I can actually coach people because I've experienced sort of the worst of the worst. Okay, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to do it. If this starts happening, this is how you get back on track. You know, so I'm grateful. It's almost like it sort of happened like almost like for good. Because it's like, yeah, I can teach people sort of like, hey, don't do this.
Well, what happened to your body when you started eating meat and dairy? Like, what actually happened to your body? So people will be interested. That's all.
What happened to my body? Like, I was definitely like, I felt like pretty good for majority of it, but it was just sort of overeating. I guess I was probably just like eating too much. Like my body, it's really hard to stop when you're eating, because your body is like, am I going to go back into fasting? Am I going to go back into survival mode? Like it wants to like eat as much as it can.
We'll just quickly pause this. I'll just got someone at the door.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like your body is just like eat, you know, because it's sort of like in that mode of like, yeah, when am I going to eat next? With my body, like I definitely, it's so hard it's so hard to sort of like say what happened, because it's like, it's hard to sort of gauge, you know, like, yeah, definitely like still having digestive issues and like some problems that I had before. But the thing is, it's like, you can't just heal all of your problems in 70 days. You know, the amount of like shit that we have in us that is passed down from us, you're just not going to get rid of in 70 days. So really sort of like what I'm trying to practice is breaking the fast, and breaking the fast safely, and not go back to eating what I was eating before. So why I sort of went a little bit crazy on the post fast was because, yeah, like I mentioned before, some of the symptoms of fasting is like your hair will fall out, your teeth will fall out, that sort of stuff. Like, and I sort of got really freaked out, and I had some friends that were losing hair, because your hair actually holds toxicity. So when your body is detoxing, it lets go of that because it's trying to get rid of the toxicity. And I was like, holy shit. I don't want to lose my hair.
For a woman, yeah.
I'm not meant to be a baldy, you know? Like I want a big sexy husband one day. There's nothing wrong with being bald, but I'm just like, for me, I'm like, you know, I want to find like a partner, and I take pride in like the way that I look in my hair, and like, you know, like dating. It's going to be a lot easier when you have like a full like head of hair. So I was like, no, I don't want to lose my, like, you know, like I like my hair. I don't want to lose it. So I sort of like freaked out a little bit and was like, I need to eat meat. I need to eat these foods, because I wanted to stop detoxing, because I've detoxed so much, and I was like, I need to stop detoxing. I need to slow the symptoms down. So I was like, just eat everything, because I was just like so done with fasting and was like scared to keep detoxing. Jeez. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, it's pretty like, I'm just like not ready to lose my hair. I think we can all understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of, yeah, now I'm like, I'm back fasting, and I've got like, yeah, a plan. So it's like 21 days breaking it. This is what I'm breaking it with. This is how I'm doing it. And then I'm going to do another fast. So it's sort of like, yeah. So one thing I didn't mention to you before is that one of my goals in life is to be a breatharian.
Right.
If you know what a breatharian is.
I don't. I'm intrigued now. Learning something today on the Breaking Free podcast. We're all going to learn what a breatharian is.
A breatharian. And this is something that I learned about maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, that we don't need food to survive. Food is one source of energy. There are so many different sources of energy. We've got the sun, we've got the ocean, we've got the earth, we've got breath, we've got love, we've got universal, source energy. Food is the lowest frequency and like density energy that we can consume, like source of fuel. So I've actually met a breatharian on the weekend, which was awesome. He was breatharian for 60 days. And I met quite a few other people that are on their path to being breatharian. So it just sort of really reaffirmed that like that's what I need to be. That's what I need to be doing. And prior to the fast, I had this huge like breakthrough, and the universe was like, you can't keep denying what you're here to do. And part of that was like breatharian. Like you just have to, like, this is on your path. It might not happen in 5 years. It might not happen in 10 years. Could happen in like 50 years. But at some point in my life, I will be a breatharian. And I'm sort of like on that journey now of I want to basically be like almost like a hybrid breatharian is what I've sort of named it, which is using all of the different sources of energy to fuel me as opposed to just one. So I still want to use food as a way to connect with people, because, there's something so beautiful about coming together and like sharing a meal and connecting and cooking for someone and putting your love into it. Like I love cooking. Like I'm an amazing cook. Like I love to cook for people, and I love to eat as well. And I love, I'm not really like, never really been a part of like the matrix, but I do enjoy, going to a nice restaurant. I do enjoy like eating some oysters in Noosa and like watching the sunset. So
very, very
I don't
good
want
thing
to
to
deny.
Yeah.
I don't want to deny, my highest value is freedom. I don't want to deny myself the freedom. And one of my highest values is, new experiences and adventures. So I don't want to deny myself the freedom and the experiences that food has to offer. So I just want to have food as a source of energy, but not necessarily the primary source, sort of losing the attachment to food. Yeah. And just tapping into those other sources.
Interesting. You've sort of mind blown.
Crazy.
You've mind blown one of my belief systems now.
Yeah. I mean, look, it just, the programming just goes so deep.
It does, yeah. You didn't activate me. I knew this anyway, but I was just like, food. I just realized that food's probably my primary source of energy. I could probably delve into the other sources. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And the same for me. Like, I don't really meditate that often. Like, I don't sun gaze as often as I'd like. I don't go in the ocean as much as I'd like. Like, I'm not someone who is hardcore doing those things. So it's also, for me, it's like, food is, when I was fasting, obviously food wasn't the primary source of energy. Like I was still having calories.
Yeah.
I was still having calories from the juice, but really you're tapping into like universal energy. Like you're literally like, that's what you're like eating. And like, I didn't really get hungry. Yeah. I was just so high. Like my frequency was just so high. It was just like, it's just like on another level, So it's funny how food is like the lowest frequency of fuel. And then like people are just eating shit.
Yep, they are.
Like literally just eating like stuff that it's not food. No. So yeah, food is a funny one. You can use it to heal and to connect and to share love, or you can use it to literally destroy your body.
Yep. And 85% of people are using it to destroy themselves.
Yep. And then you've got the drinking alcohol and,
Smoking.
all that. Yeah. Yep. So, it's about tapping into the other sources of energy.
It is.
Yeah. Losing the attachment to food. Yeah. So that's my journey.
Very
with
awesome
breatharian.
journey, very awesome story, very awesome chat. Is there anything else you're willing
Yeah.
to share before we sort of wrap things up? I'm not really sure how long this has gone for, but it's been an awesome podcast anyway.
It has been. There's not really, and I mean, there's so many different things there's so many different passions and hobbies and interests and things that I do. But yeah, sort of like what's really coming through for me at the moment is just is the fasting. Like fasting really is the key to sovereignty and to spiritual development. And not everyone's going to fast, but I hope that people can at least listen to this. And like, prior to fasting, like I was supposed to be like, I was supposed to have the diagnosis of hypothyroidism, of fibromyalgia. Like I was completely bedridden 4 months, insomnia, just crying, couldn't walk, couldn't move. And it's like, your health is your wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Health is literally wealth, and you have to take care of it. Like if you hate the system, if you hate the government, if you know what they're doing, that they're coming at you from every single angle, like I urge you to take that responsibility over your health before it's too late, because our bodies are such amazing things, right? They're self-healing, and they do all of these amazing things. Like it just wants to keep us alive, but they can't deal with the amount of radiation, of the amount of pesticides and all that sort of stuff that's coming at us, like the water. Like they're really coming at us from every angle. So you need to do what you can to help your body. Like you've got to assist it. So at least at the bare minimum, cut out sugar, cut out alcohol, cut out gluten, complex carbohydrates, caffeine, like start on your health journey, connecting back to your body, because you don't want to be reliant on the system. You want to be sovereign. And when you start getting rid of the parasites and the worms in your body, because the microbiome actually controls neural pathways. So if you've got all these microbiome, all these different parasites and worms just running rampant, right, in this unhealthy environment that they're just thriving in, they are controlling your mind. And you'll be surprised, after a fast and after you do like some sort of cleanse or something like that, you're actually more sovereign. You're not a host. You don't have all these little wormies and all these little parasites controlling you, because that's what they're doing, right? We're just like this host, and they're just in there controlling us. Yep, she wants to eat sugar, she wants to act like that. They really have so much control over us. So you really want to get these things out. And there's a lot of different protocols that you can use. And even getting these parasites out, getting the mucoid plaque out, so that when you're actually consuming food, you're actually absorbing the nutrients and the minerals and like the nutrition that's in it, because a lot of it just gets stuck in the parasites feed off it, and the mucoid plaque gets stuck in there. So if you actually want true sovereignty, then fasting, or taking, like, really stepping into your health journey is the key.
Spot on.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's interesting you say that too, because I do the intermittent fasting, and I know, like, I've got the mental clarity, but I know mine's going to be super clarity once I fast for longer. But I can definitely resonate with that, like, clarity, and that, like, having like your thoughts back as like your own and that sort of stuff too. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, since like breaking the fast, I'm like, how did I ever, like, I feel like I was so much smarter and sharper and clearer on the fast. Like that, like, and I feel not as sharp as like what I was on the fast, but prior to the fast, like couldn't think, couldn't do anything, like total brain fog. So it's like, yeah, it's just crazy. Like even when you're eating the wrong foods, how much that is controlling your mind and your energy and all of this sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, as for the parasites, it's like, the parasites, they lay their eggs and they're most active around the full moon.
Ooh,
that's why people are crazy on the full moon.
That makes sense.
Right? Is because they are active. They're controlling our emotions. That's why, like, mental health hospitals, like, there's so many new patients, domestic violence goes up, like accidents, like there's so much craziness that goes on during the full moon because of the parasites. Like, don't let them control you. live in harmony with them. But as soon as they start acting out, get rid of them.
Fast it out.
Fast it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll separate. I usually ask my guests a question about someone to start their journey, but because there's so many journeys within the journey, I might ask these 3 different ways to get 3 different answers. But if someone's about to start their journey in we'll go with their fasting journey. What would be your advice to someone starting their fasting journey? Then I'll ask the next couple.
Definitely cut out sugar,
Yep.
gluten, alcohol, caffeine, and complex carbohydrates for like at least a month or 6 weeks.
Or forever.
We'll do it forever. But leading up to it, definitely cut those things out. I would definitely book in with like myself or a different fasting coach and have a consultation, because basically you want to have a look at your lifestyle, your health background, your goal, and your why. And from that, we can sort of like look at, okay, what's the best type of fast for this person? And what's the best length, because it's going to be different for everyone, and you want to make it, it's like, if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So you want to go in knowing what you're doing and because fasting, you can just do a 3-day water fast, but if you really want the magic to happen, there's so many other things to it. You've got to take like some sort of stuff, like there's other things to it. It can be really simple, but if you want to do it proper way and actually get the best results, there's other things. So book in with someone who's done fasting, come up with like the best plan for you that's going to work for you, that's actually going to work for you, something that's not too hard. And you want to have a really smooth transition into the fast and out of the fast. You don't want it to be like this. You want it to be really just gradually in and just gradually out, because the post-fast, and this is something that I emphasize with all my clients, is like, is focusing on the post-fast. How are you going to break this? Over how many days? What are the foods that you're going to be having? This is how you need to prepare yourself for it. So you don't want to go into a fast not knowing what you're doing, because if you're going to break it the wrong way, or you're not going to do the fast the right way, you will do more damage. Like, you may as well have just not fasted. Like, you can royally fuck your gut up if you do not break it the right way.
Jeepers.
Yes. Post-fast is like, knowing what you're doing post-fast is essential.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. I'll be doing some more epic fasts, and I'll probably reach out to you when I move to Queensland, and you can help me on my fasting journey in the next few months. I'm looking forward to it.
I would love to.
Yes, that'd be good. Next question. So if someone was starting their healing journey, what would be your advice to those people that are listening to this and go, oh, okay, well, there's some pain and some other emotions there. Like, what would be your advice to those people to start their healing journey?
I would say just try and feel it. Just really try and feel it, and go in, like, if you're going to like a healer or you have a coach or something like that, make sure that you don't, I see a lot of people, they jump from like coach to healer to this, to this, to this, to this. Like, actually give yourself, like, go through it at your own pace. Like, don't, like, once you go and you have a healing or something has come up for you, actually like let yourself integrate, let yourself process and actually embody those teachings. And you don't have to look for all these outside people, all these outside sources to heal you, but just like really work on your self-confidence and unconditional love, actual unconditional love, loving yourself through the pain, through the discomfort, through the height, because it's easy to love ourselves when we're feeling good and we're looking good, but really being able to hold space and love yourself when you are feeling like shit and it's all come crashing down. And sometimes, like, when it all comes crashing down, just let it go, because it's like the archer, right? The bow and arrow. The more tension, the more you pull back and the more pressure there is, the more that you're going to fly forward. So sometimes when everything is crashing around, you just have to surrender to it, and you have to just hold that faith, hold that trust in the universe and in yourself, and know that you have gotten through 100% of your darkest days, that you can literally get through anything. Just love yourself, trust yourself, hold space for yourself to feel it, and don't feel guilty for feeling. Don't feel guilty if you feel like a victim, or if you feel like poor me, or you feel sad, or you feel lonely. Like just let yourself feel it and talk to that inner child, you know? Like, where is this pain coming from? Like, feel it in your body, you know? Like, move that energy, but you have to feel it. And it's all coming up to the surface so that you can actually properly work through it and let it go. And then you don't have to go through that anymore. It's not yours. But just surrendering to it and just really embracing the human experience of experiencing the polarities and all of the different emotions. And there's no right, there's no wrong, just be. Yeah.
That's awesome advice. That's an awesome way to finish. Thanks for
Thanks.
jumping on today, Rhani. I'm so glad the universe brought me that reel into my Instagram feed. That was awesome.
Me too. It's been so lovely to connect with you. And
yeah,
I'm
you too. I'm
really happy to be here.
Looking forward to meeting in person, and we can discuss more about fasting. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, definitely.
But
yeah, I love
actually, there's one more question that has come to me before we wrap it up. There'll be some males that listen to this, and I've been working out a bit lately. I'm starting to get in the gym and starting to build my physical strength. In terms of fasting and building the physical strength, there'll be some males out there that will be like, well, I don't want to fast because I'm in the gym doing, physical strength. So this is obviously a question. But this is probably a question for me as well. It's like, well, I stopped doing that for a while, even though it's like really awesome for me right now. It's like I stopped doing that to then fast, I guess.
Yeah.
How would one go about that? Because it's very cold down in Victoria, but I'll be mixing gym and fast. Won't be gymming, I don't reckon, when I fast. Like, how does one incorporate that back into their lifestyle after the fast?
I definitely feel like I could have done my exercise while I was fasting for sure.
Like small, low intensity, like walking.
I think I could have done I feel like there's some days where I had so much energy, I could have done a full proper workout. Yeah,
right. Okay.
But I think it's for most people, they're not going to be able to go to the gym and do weights. Like, if you feel like you can do it, then you know your body better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But make sure you are having movement every single day, like body weights, like do push-ups, do sit-ups, do all that sort of stuff.
In the fast.
Move your body, even if it's just a walk, even if it's yoga, even if it's stretching. But if you feel like you can do it, like exercise is encouraged during the fast because you need that for your lymphatic. I'm pretty sure it's for your lymphatic, for the drainage. Like, you need things to actually get moving, and exercise obviously is moving things. So, when you're fasting, when you're doing a long fast, you're going to lose muscle. It's just part of it. You're going to lose a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals, a lot of, it's not a time where you're building. Like, people how do you get your protein on you fasting? It's like, you're literally pulling everything out of you. It's not a time for protein or for giving your body all of this stuff. It's the time where you're getting everything out. So, weight loss and muscle loss is inevitable. It's going to happen. You sort of just have to accept it, but keep moving during the fast, whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't overexert yourself. Don't do anything stupid if your body's saying no. Make sure you're prioritizing rest. But I think, eat, when you start, my rule was okay, when I start eating, it's I'm going to go for a walk every single day. So just definitely start exercising when you break the fast and ease back into it, and your muscle memory will still be there.
Yeah. The old ego is going to take a hit when I meet you, Rhani. I'm going to be physically pretty fit, and then I'm going to meet you and start fasting, and I'm going to be the ego is going to go, oh,
yeah,
he's going back to his skinny self.
Yeah. I know it's a bit like that, but I think
there's some pretty epic healing though for that though, I think too.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, right? It comes back to unconditional love.
That's it.
Loving yourself through how you are now, and then being skinny, and then, the whole process. It's just understanding short-term pain, long-term gain. Yeah, that's it. And it's you're going to have more energy and you're going to feel healthier because of the fasting,
Rhani's going to shake me up. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on today.
Fasting is key.
Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for being willing to jump on. And we couldn't really make it happen there for a couple of weeks because we're both sounds like we both had some stuff coming up, so it wasn't time.
Literally some stuff coming up. Yeah,
Yep.
literally.
I had some stuff. You had some stuff, so it wasn't universally time. I'm glad today was, and you've sort of opened my eyes to a lot of this fasting stuff. Like I was always doing it, but now I'm like, oh, okay, well, a bit longer might be the way to go, and I get to some warmer weather.
And it's good for men. Like for men, I feel like fasting is like very normal. It's sort of just like in your DNA, in your like makeup.
Because in summer down here, I was doing 48-hour, 24-hour, 48-hour ones. But I wasn't really taking anything to get the parasites out. I was just sort of thinking it would happen naturally.
Yeah, you got to do something to get them out. That's the key. Like doing enemas or taking some stuff to get it out is really the key. Like that's what I found. Like when I started doing the master fast, I was like, I get it. Like I've been missing the most important thing. Like I'm not actually getting the stuff out. So you need to get the stuff out.
That's my next step. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited to start my fasting journey. So thanks for jumping on today, Rhani. This has been the Breaking Free podcast. Looking forward to the next few weeks of guests. There's some awesome ones there. Rhani was awesome too. So thank you for watching and listening wherever in the world you are, and I'll see you guys again real soon. So thank you, Rhani.
Thanks for having me.
We'll end it right here.